So, welcome to another edition of the Membership World podcast. And if you haven't already subscribed to the show, please do. My name is Gordon Glenister, and I'm delighted to have with me Caroline, who is the CEO of the National Hair and Beauty Federation. It's lovely to see you, Caroline.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, and we've known each other for quite some time now because we've indeed
Yeah,
worked together, haven't we?
yeah,
And we're going to talk a little bit about member advocacy and the importance of really associations leveraging their members as best they can and making them feel part of something. And of course, one of the things that you've been running now for a number of years is the top 100 most influential salon owners in the UK, which we're going to have a real deep dive into how it's worked and sort of what impact it's had. But for those people watching and listening, perhaps you'd be good enough to just share with us a little bit more about what you do at the NHBF.
yeah, no worries. Um, as you said, I'm Caroline Larissy, and I'm Chief Executive of the National Hair and Beauty Federation. The National Hair and Beauty Federation, or the NHBF, we've been around about 86, I think, nearly 7 years. So it's a well-established organisation. So we're the largest trade organisation for the hair and beauty sector. So what we do is we provide our members with business support. That's the main mantra of what we do. We don't get involved in the creative side of things. We
Hmm.
leave professionals to do what they do well, which is all the hair and beauty services. But when somebody goes, particularly into a hair and beauty business, they go in because they love the clients, they love the passion for the industry, and that's what they want to do. And business tends to come second. And that's where we jump in. And we always say we're a safety net for our businesses. And we're just a helping hand just to give them that advice and guidance when they need it. So, as I say, we do a multiple, various different things. But one of the key things that we do is champion our sector.
Mm. And well, I know you did a lot of that, of course, during the pandemic, because for many of them, that was a very, very difficult and challenging time, because you've got that close proximity of working with clients, ha haven't you? So,
Absolutely. And we were quite fortunate that we were on the task force, but with the government. So what we were doing is putting government jargon into layman's terms so that the business could actually understand exactly what they needed to do at each stage. And as you know, at the time, each of the governments had different timescales and different policies, and trying to navigate that for our members was one of the crucial things, yeah, that we
mm.
did.
No, amazing, amazing. So let's just have a little bit more of a deep dive now into how important do you think it is for an association that is banging the drum and doing these amazing things in terms of lobbying government to have the support of those members and them to be involved and engaged in what you're doing. So from an advocacy perspective.
Absolutely. We launched our new campaign, which was Respect Our Sector, about 3 months ago. Did a soft launch because that's one of the things that we've been doing. And it's all about making sure that the government understand how important we are. So if you go back to the pandemic, everybody was, really excited about hair and beauty businesses, reopening. And it wasn't just because everybody had turned into Wookiee and they got very big beards and long hair and everything. It was about that social interaction. And it was about, the hair and beauty businesses are only one of the, few businesses that's still on the high street.
Mm.
If you go on any high street, you'll probably see a charity shop or two. You may see a corner shop, but you will tend to see a hairdresser, a beauty salon, or a barber shop. And that's one of the things that we're saying is that, our members are a real pinnacle for the community.
Mm.
They also support people's mental health and well-being. You go into a chat to it, and sometimes people tell hairdressers and beauty therapists things that they wouldn't tell other people.
Oh, I know.
And that's what we wanted to really do, is to champion that, how fantastic the sector is. And sometimes we get forgotten.
Mm.
And I think that's where we sort of can really help our members to push those messages forward.
Mm.
So we've done a number of tours because, Joe Bloggs out there doesn't know how to write to the local MP, doesn't know, how to shout their thing. And we all know that it's really difficult for small and micro businesses out there. It's
Mm,
tough times, Every time we get a budget, you're like, holding your breath because you're just thinking, oh my goodness, what else is there going to be? The wages are increasing, national insurances, and there's all these various different things that these small businesses have to contend with. And
mm,
then, they're, trying to please clients, they've got competition of their own and everything. And it was like, well, who's shouting out for the little man?
yeah.
And that's where we come on board. So we've got a dedicated website. We've got letters that we can actually, you can just put your postcode in and then you can go straight through to your minister. And what we're saying is that ministers out there don't understand the sector, don't understand the challenges. And actually, if you get it from the horse's mouth, from that individual business, it speaks volumes because
Mm,
it's on that personal
mm,
scale. So it's almost like enabling, the members to have more of a voice and more of a say and more of the things. But also, as you said before, we have our top 100 influencers. And basically, again, we wanted to shout about good practice because I think in this social media era, where everybody can go on TikTok or on YouTube or what and go, oh, yes, look, I can do this and I can do this. But have they got the qualifications? Have they got the education? Have they got the training? Have they
mm,
got the insurance to do it?
mm.
And particularly in hair and beauty, it's a skill. And a skill takes a long time to develop. You're talking 2 years, 3 years for a hairdresser, same for beauty on that side of things. But then you've got somebody that's popping up on like YouTube and saying, look, this is the best way of doing this, and they've probably never had any training.
Mm.
So we did the influencers, and I think next year's 5 years. My
It's 5 years.
goodness,
It's
must be
5 years.
5 years.
It's 5 years. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and we just said we need to shout about who's doing this really, really well. And social media seems to be the catalyst side of things. So what we wanted to do was do something that was impartial, and that's why, we have you guys, work with you guys. We make sure that it's very, very fair. But what we wanted to do was to make sure that we got clear professionals that are actually working in the sector that could actually give that clear message of what is good out there. We know what good is, but Joe Public out there doesn't know what's good is.
Mm.
So we started it 5 years ago, and it just seems to have grown and grown and grown, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and obviously I've been a wonderful part of seeing it grow and emerge over that journey from I mean some of the results from the early stages just blew up, didn't they? And I think what really fascinated not only me but also you guys as an organization is how people really valued being recognized by their industry body not just for their craft, but their level of authority online, because that is what influence is as about as well. And I know your own Facebook blew up,
Yeah.
with triple digit growth. And I think what I've found from my own perception was people felt like they were part of not just the business side of it, but actually uh, people were sharing their social media stories. They were supporting each other that were in the sector, given that they've just come out of a very, very difficult COVID. And I remember seeing those Instagram stories and the delight when they received their placard
Yeah.
was just phenomenal, really. And now, of course, sort of 5 years on, it's not about whether or not they're in the 100, but where they are now ranked. So it's created its own level of competition, but I think it's also put a real spotlight on the importance of social media for these business owners and for you also as an association.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If I think where we started from it, so we started and we had a big event, I mean, and we had that. But actually, then the year after, we did it partly online, and that worked really, really well.
Mm,
And it was like, oh, actually, I think, and now we've got hybrid, and with any of these types of things, you tweak it, don't you? You
of course
change
you
it.
do.
And
Mm,
particularly this year, what we wanted to do was to make sure that beauty got an equal standing as well as hair. So we still had the top 100, but what we did is we divided it into 50 hair and 50 beauty. And then what we did is we went to the biggest industry event, which was HairCon. And we did the announcement at HairCon because we wanted to do that and we wanted to get that vibe there. But also, what we wanted to do was to distinguish between the industries. Because if you're in the sector and you understand the sector, hair is really in your face, boom, 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 boom. Whereas beauty is a lot more precise and a lot more, refined. And so we went to a brand new event, which was called Tones of Beauty, which was absolutely fantastic. It was something completely out of the box, which was absolutely great, which really did suit the audience there as well. So we were able to maximize it. So we were able to do everything really. We would be able to put it online so that everybody could tune in online and look at it then, but also do a bit of a live event as well
mm.
within specific things. So I think it really, really worked. And particularly in the hair, we had last year's winner come and do the presentation, which was absolutely great.
Nice.
And so it was really good. So there was a real vibe around it. And as you refine these things, and I think the momentum's still going. And it's a bit like we have the lady from Gogglebox. Oh, I don't know if you know, but there's a hairdresser that's on Gogglebox, and
Oh,
she was
right.
saying into the
Oh,
audience because she got one of her staff members that were up part of one of the top 50 hair, which was really, really quite good.
and that's the other thing that I think is worth mentioning here. This isn't just about CEOs or founders or owners. This
Absolutely.
could be actually as much as a junior stylist
Yeah.
who's really started to show some behind the scenes content.
Yeah.
This is how I style my customers, or
Yeah.
getting some customers involved in that content as well.
Yeah.
That this is the day in life of a hairdresser, or this is my first experience. So I genuinely think that as this sort of grows more, r- salon owners can think to themselves, actually, this isn't just the brand of the salon. This is actually a multiple of employees within my organization that could
Absolutely.
be also sharing content and getting that real sense of, as you said, community vibe going on because. They're such an important part, and I know that there are women that will not, once they've found their hairdresser, they ain't moving.
No, no,
And I
absolutely.
think a little bit of it is very similar to blokes as well. Men,
Yeah.
we are sticklers for having somebody that you want to go to
You
as
trust,
well.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And I mean, I'm an ex-hairdresser and beauty therapist, and I did it for about 30 years. And when I eventually stopped, when I had my little one, I moved out of my village where my salon was and then came back. And I had people that wouldn't speak to me because I stopped doing the hair. It was like,
Yeah,
but you do generations, you see, you
of
sort of do
course.
grandparents, parents, kids, grandkids, and particularly if you've been in business for such a long time. And I think that's where, the heart of the community is. But yeah, and this year we're expanding even further. So we're looking more at careers and working with the colleges and training providers and that. And looking at people that are wanting to go in the industry. So our industry has got a skills crisis. It's like a lot of the industries out there. We're really struggling to get the recruits in. So we're looking at things like the top 100 influencers to really push that within schools.
I
So
think
we
that's a
work.
really good idea. And actually, well, I know that because obviously it's an area close to my heart, 1 in 4 kids say they want to be a content creator or an
Yeah,
influencer. So if they do, then actually, why not steer the top 100 into, because a lot of these young people are digital natives.
Yeah,
They've
absolutely.
born up with TikTok, so they will. And in fact, actually now, TikTok accounts for a huge amount of search traffic.
Yeah.
So, and of course, news as well. So, I always say to associations, ignore social media at your peril because, the next generation, and, you're not the only industry, of course, that's having a skills crisis. So, if it's never been more important to share your message or indeed have your message shared through advocates or on
Oh,
social media.
absolutely.
And if I was like a young 20-year-old and I started in the hair and beauty industry, just imagine that sort of storytelling of such an individual will inspire her or his own generation. They won't be following you or I, Caroline. They'll be following people of their own age. And
Absolutely.
and so I think that's really exciting move forward.
It
Um,
is, it is. And we work with an organisation called Unifrog, who are in schools. They're in about 70% of the schools. And careers now is not what it used to be. So
mm,
well, it used to be you'd have people coming in and, chatting to you. It's all online. What did you expect? And Unifrog is like that for the schools.
is
And
it?
the kids get
Mm,
an account. We put loads of videos and stuff on there because there's real misconceptions about the sector and what the jobs are and everything. And yeah, and it's bringing that. And then we've also just relaunched our podcasts. So we've got a bright, big pink couch in the office where we've got a full podcast studio where we're getting
wow.
people coming in and doing stuff like that. So you're absolutely right. It's the way things are going regarding the social media and that interaction, and people don't want to start read things. They want to dial in and listening to something like a podcast or something like that that'll discuss this topic so they
Mm,
get a better understanding.
mm.
So yeah, the world's changing, isn't it? And you just have to adapt with all these things. And as any other businesses, we just try these things. If they work, they work. Like the influencers, we've done that. We've tweaked it, we've developed it, and it's becoming a great big sensation, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's building on that, and it's sort of being able to educate through a media that people can relate to, and that can be easily accessible on a mobile phone, which is what everybody wants to do these days, isn't it? They literally want to swipe through and just pick up the content that they want when they want to.
Absolutely, yeah, lovely. So, final words then. What does the future look like for the hair and beauty industry?
So the hair and beauty industry, I think we've got challenging times. We know we've got challenging times. I go out. I'm quite fortunate. I go out and meet a lot of my members, and we've just been doing a recognition on people that have been with us 50 plus years. In fact, I went to one salon and they've been with us 90 years, more than the organisation have been
Goodness
going.
me, wow.
It was crazy. But it was like, yeah, we need to find out from the horse's mouth exactly what, support we can do for businesses. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we'll be doing a lot more in 2026 is going out to our members, chatting to our members, finding out, from the horse's mouth exactly what they're wanting and how we can support them as an industry organization. We know it's challenging out there, but we know we're a resilient sector.
Mm.
And as you know, we're in your face. We're always there. So, and I think that's where we need to build on the strengths in the sector. We're
Yeah.
very good communicators, but sometimes we don't shout about ourselves as much as what we should do, how good
Mm.
we are as a sector. And I think that comes back to our Right Respect campaign, which we're going to be ramping up. We've got an event coming in March. So we've got a respect event coming in, as I say, March time. So we're really heading on to that. So yeah, 2026 is going to be a really exciting year for us. There's quite a lot on the agenda.
Great. Thank you, Caroline Livesey, for enjoying this and sharing your thoughts and views this morning on the Membership World podcast.
Very welcome.